Hey there guys, welcome back to the channel. So I had a chance to check out the live action remake of How to Train Your Dragon that is developed by DreamWorks, and it's an adaptation to the original three How to Train Your Dragon movies, which for me personally, it's one of the greatest trilogies ever made. And I thought the story that DeBlois, the director of the first three, was special and unique and breathtaking storytelling. I thought the first two movies were the best. The third one was my least favorite, but it's still really good. But when DreamWorks announced that they were going to hire him on to direct the live action remake, I mean I didn't know anything about it until I saw the first teaser trailer, because I was skeptical when they announced that they were going to do the live action remake of the version, and I was like, why are they doing another gimmick live action remake when Disney had failed so many times over the years? There are a few exceptions that I liked about the live action remake from the Disney movies, but most of the time they have been having a lot of misses over the years. Can DreamWorks break that cycle? Well, when I first saw that teaser trailer, when we saw Hiccup, played by Thames, who puts his hand out against Toothless, and Toothless leans in, and it's definitely like shot for shot from the original film. And can they recapture that moment again? And I will say that it did when I watched that teaser trailer, and it became one of my most anticipated films of the year. Now, as you already know from the original first movie, and as for the live-action remake, we're following this character Hiccup, played by Thames, who is a blacksmith and a Viking. His father is a Viking. He lives in a village full of Vikings who have been killing dragons for centuries, until he meets up with a knight rider who has ever seen or lived to tell a tale. And he wanted to prove himself that he can be a Viking by trying to killing one of them, and he couldn't. And that's where the friendship starts to unfold, and he is the key to forging a new path, a new future of how they see the dragons. I thought the storyline was great from the original film, and I was always wondering, can they recapture that again? And I will say, coming out of the theater of How to Train Your Dragon, the live-action remake, I will say this was far better than what I anticipated. I was still a little bit worried going in and felt like, oh my god, are they going to execute it well? Now, I will say, for those of you who don't know, who have not seen the live-action remake and have seen the original film, you're wondering, is this pretty much the same movie as the first one? I will say, yes, it is. It's definitely exactly like the original film. It is going to be a copy and paste. They do add some few different elements to the film, but it's not going to be something that's going to change your life, or it's not going to be something that it's going to add anything new to the table that you haven't already seen before. It is a copy and paste, don't get me wrong, but I will say I thought it was well executed, because you got someone, the director, DeBlois, who directed the original three, to come in and try to do it justice, the transition from the animation to the live action form. Now, you're probably wondering, why should I even bother to go see the live-action remake when I've already seen the original film? Why should I go and revisit the same story that I've already seen? What would be the point of that? Why would it be wasting my time to watch it from a 2-hour movie? I will say that, for me, it didn't bother me, because I felt like they executed very well, especially with the actor Thames, which you may have remembered him that he was in the horror movie The Black Phone. And when he was cast as Hiccup, I thought it was a great cast choice. And I will say, he definitely did the character justice. He didn't try to impersonate Jay Birshall's version of Hiccup from the animated film. All they did was have him recite the lines from the original film, and I will say that he actually delivered the fucking performance. He acted his ass off. I saw him as the character. This kid, he's 17 right now, and when I saw him in The Black Phone, and then after seeing this movie, this kid is going to be a star. He has definitely have a lot of great potential to carry a franchise on his own. He does strike a little bit of the resemblance of Tom Holland. He does have the voice, the physicality of it, and look, I think he's an incredible actor. And with all due respect for Jay Birshall's portrayal as Hiccup, don't get me wrong, I thought he was incredible as Hiccup, but he's always been more of a typecast in a comedic role when you see Jay Birshall in live action. But I think that Manson is a far better actor, and not to take away the Jay Birshall's portrayal from the original film. I thought he nailed it playing Hiccup, but I thought Manson did a little bit of a far better job. Now, look, granted, don't get me wrong, I think the original film is a far better movie overall, because it was unique and different and nothing we have seen before, and all they did was just pretty much took things that we have already established and put it into the live action, and I still think that the live action is just as worthy of a live action remake. Look, did they play it safe? Yes, they played it safe. Of course they did. And I feel like that the studio did not want to get the blowback on the fans who try to go off the source material from the original film and get the blowback and get a lot of major backlash on social media. And look, I think that they definitely recaptured the moment with the friendship between Toothless and Hiccup in live action. I thought the animation style from the visuals from Toothless was beautiful, the way they did it in the live action. I felt so attached. I felt like they added heart. Now, a couple of my negatives that I will go into without going into the major spoiler territory for those of you who have not watched the original film. I thought that these supporting characters who are the band of misfits, who are supposed to be the new generation of dragon killers, I thought that they were not established well in live action. They kind of felt dull and dry, and they were kind of far annoying in the first half of the film. And yeah, in the third act finale, they were less annoying, but I just felt like they didn't really recapture it very well with these characters, except for Nico Parker, who's playing Astrid. Now, a lot of people backlashed over the casting choice because they did the race swap of Astrid. I thought Nicole Parker was a perfect casting as Astrid. She plays off a character who is very strong-willed and very full of leadership, and she's all about getting the job done. And she's always a little bit of a sassy character. And I thought Nicole Parker, which you may have remembered her in the first episode of the first season of The Last of Us. She played Joel's daughter in the episode, and I thought she really fucking nailed the role as Astrid. They did it justice. Her on-screen chemistry with Manson was perfect. I definitely bought her as the character Astrid. I didn't think about the race swap. I didn't give a shit at any of that. I was on board day one when she was cast. I thought like she wasn't what I had in mind, but when she was picked, I was like, nope. I can definitely see it. Even when I saw the set photos, I was like, yeah, that's definitely Astrid. And even from the trailers, and then from the movie itself, I really believed her as Astrid. And the chemistry between her and Manson was definitely perfect. I really bought into it. Gerard Butler, it could have gone completely wrong because he definitely voiced Hiccup's dad in the original film. And can he transition well into live action? Yes, he did. I bought him in a live action character. He definitely did it well, and he's playing a character who's a veteran dragon killer, who doesn't really see his son as a Viking, but he always does everything he can to protect him because he doesn't think he can actually live up to his potential, and he's the kind of guy who doesn't always listen very well. He kind of hears what he wants to hear. He kind of feels a little bit narrow-minded, and he sees dragon. When he sees dragon, he sees them as the villain. When Hiccup, he sees them differently, and he sees it from a different point of view, that the dragons are misunderstood and that they're intelligent creatures and they're only trying to defend themselves. Yes, there are some dragons that did something wrong from the humans, but really, overall, they're just misunderstood. There's two sides of the coin, and Hiccup is the key to try to change the perception of how they see the dragons, and that they're not a threat and they're not as a threatening as you think. And I will say, one of the biggest highlights of the movie that I really loved was the flight scene with Hiccup and Toothless. It was so fucking breathtaking to show that in the live action form. Even if you're someone who had loved the original film and didn't love the remake, you cannot tell me that they did not recapture the spectacle of it. The moment that he flies with them in a training montage, even when he flies with Astrid, and then in the third act finale, was beautiful of how they transitioned into the live action. It was incredible. I felt the wonder. I felt the heart, the awe moment. It could have been done so poorly, but no, they did it well. I loved it. Oh, like, I will say that the third act finale delivered the spectacle. I really enjoyed the spectacle of this movie, and I felt the friendship between him and between Toothless. I thought it was believable. And Manson doesn't try to impersonate the actor Jay Baruchel for Hiccup. Yeah, sure, he recite the lines, but he took the character and made it his own and made me believe that he is Hiccup and he has a potential to carry the franchise. And they just confirmed, like, a while back that they're definitely developing a sequel. And I hope that this movie does well at the box office and that they can move forward. Overall, I think that they did a great job of doing the live-action remake, and it was done justice for me. Sure, yes, it's exactly the same movie. I know, I get that. I know it's going to be frustrating to some people out there who have been attached to the original film and feel like they're going to go in there and feel completely unsatisfied with it because it's exactly the same movie. But and people want to compare this to the live action, the remake of the animated film of The Lion King with Jon Favreau. That is exactly the same movie. The only difference is that the remake of The Lion King movie, it is the same movie, but the acting and the performances felt very dull and dry. It wasn't as believable as I was hoping for. Sure, the visuals were incredible, but it just felt very empty. I felt empty watching that film. I didn't feel the heart as I did for the original film. But for this movie, it definitely delivered the heart. It delivered the wonder, and it made me feel like I was watching it for the first time. That's what this movie did for me. Sure, if they ever do a sequel of How to Train Your Dragon 2, sure, they're going to go off the same beat as the second one, but I hope they do a little bit more than what they did in the original. It has to be a little bit more. I hope they go a little bit more deep into the mythology of the dragons and this whole mythos in the world of How to Train Your Dragon. They do touch on it a little bit in this movie, but not as much. Overall, I thought that this is definitely one of probably the better live action remake that we have seen in recent years. If you're someone out there who have not seen the original film and you want to go in as completely blind, then you'll probably be satisfied with it. But for those of you who have been attached to the original film, and you're wondering if you're going to get more out of this and feel like they're going to give us something new and different, you're going to be disappointed. Then it's not going to be for you. But if you're someone out there that don't care and you want to see how well it could translate to live action, then you'll be satisfied with it. Overall, I really enjoy this movie. I would definitely rewatch this movie again, and I would love to revisit them in the sequel for the next two How to Train Your Dragon. I'm going to give this movie an 8 out of 10. Anyway, what did you think of the live-action remake of How to Train Your Dragon? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Did you enjoy it, or were you disappointed by it? If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell notification so you know when my videos are up. If you like this review, make sure you hit that like button and help promote my channel. And make sure you share the video. And if you want to follow my social media platforms, the link tree will be down in the description down below. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a great day, great evening, wherever you're from, and stay tuned for more of my content.